Okay. Hey guys, I believe I'm successfully live, so might as well just get started, right? So my name is Lauren, if you're new here, and every month I like to talk about kind of what I did, anything new that fun happened. So that's what this is. This is my monthly thoughts for January, and it's kind of crazy that another month literally came and went. I feel like this first month of 2020, just I blinked and it was over. Um, but here we are anyways. So just gonna get started. I think I'm actually gonna talk about events kind of like last because I have a lot of them and I don't want to. I always feel like I end up talking too much about the first ones. So maybe if I kind of talk about them later, I won't have that disproportionate ratio of time. So I'm gonna talk about the movies that I watched. Technically, this first movie I actually watched on New Year's Eve, but I'm going to count it anyways because I want to talk about it. So I watched Marriage Story for the first time, and I thought it was phenomenal. I don't usually like. I don't know. I guess I don't usually watch. I don't usually watch Netflix movies because I don't have Netflix, but we signed in through other means. You know how that is, and got to watch it. And I just thought it was very raw and beautiful. Adam Driver was really good. Scarlett Johansson was really good. It was sad though. Like I wanted it to be like a happy ending, and it's kind of more bittersweet. But I think that's just. I mean, that's more how life really is. So I guess that's kind of why it was like that. Another Netflix movie I saw was The Two Popes. I thought that was also really good. Definitely one of those movies that um, it made me think a lot, especially because I am Catholic. So sometimes it's like, oh, we're not looking too good here. But then at the same time, like Pope Francis was shown a pretty good light, especially at the end, and everyone's so happy. And I really want to go to the Vatican now. I mean, I already wanted to go to the Vatican, but I like extra want to go to the Vatican. And those were the movies I saw kind of like at home. I tried Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I honestly couldn't get into it. So I'm not talking about that. Then out at school, I have been watching a lot of the films for this internship I have, but I'm not actually allowed to talk about those. So I feel like I've watched less movies than I like really have watched, in the sense of like when I try to think about like, oh, what did I like? I just kind of like review it, analyze it, and kind of like send it on its way. It's not the same as watching something for pleasure, but I did watch The Last Black Man in San Francisco and The Report just for like my own sake to watch them. The Last Black Man in San Francisco I watched because my friend told me it was amazing and I had to watch it, and it was on Amazon Prime. So I was like, okay, better get around to it. It was beautiful. It was definitely not exactly like a mainstream film. Like a lot of the shots were like on this house, and you kind of like stand. I don't really know how to describe the film. Like it's not so much about like a story between like people as it is about like the person and like his home where he grew up there, like San Francisco. The music was really good. I've been listening to the score a lot because I just thought it was just very pretty, and it's just like it hits you in your core. And I think it would probably hit me even harder like if I hadn't. I've lived a pretty privileged life, so like I think if you haven't, it probably is even like more raw to experience. I also saw the Report. So I guess I'm now an Adam Driver stan. I didn't really think about that. I think he's a good actor. The Report was one of those movies that like kind of how it ends, how it has to end. Like I still was anxious while watching, and I was like, oh my god, like these people are gonna destroy him. And it's one of those things like, wow, like the government really does a lot that like we have no clue what's going on. But I try not to be like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. So I'm not really gonna get too into it. But it was like, whoa, they can really like watch and see like anything. But I know, I mean, I just like don't do anything that's worthy of the government like watching me. Like what do? I do a lot of homework. That's pretty much my life. So also for class, oh my gosh, sorry, I just remembered that I was supposed to pick up Hearts of Darkness from the library and I didn't, but I will do that after this stream before I forget again. But we had to watch Apocalypse Now because my producing teacher actually helped, like was on set for that film. So that's why we watched it. It was the first time I'd seen Apocalypse Now, got it from the library, and now we have to watch like the documentary about the making of the film. It was a war movie, and I was prepared for the war movie part, but it was a lot darker really than I had anticipated. It to Be, which was, I mean, I probably should have known like it was a dark war movie, but I don't know, it was really sad. People kept dying, and there was a dog, and it was like a puppy, and I don't know what it is about when you put an animal in a horrible situation. Like I just care so much more sometimes about the animal than the person, and maybe that's bad, but it's just something about how like this poor was like really vulnerable, and he didn't ask to be in this. I guess no one really asked to be in a war, but it was very hard to watch. On that happy note, let's move on. As I said, I have been listening to the soundtrack from The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and I really think that's probably the only new music I've been listening to. I'm still listening to like all my Billy Joel stuff, listening now to the Beach Boys since I got that on vinyl. Still listening to Goo Goo Dolls, I mean, my usual people, but the only really new music I can think of is for that soundtrack. All right, so now that I've killed some time, hopefully I'm ready to just talk about my events. I feel like it has been a pretty busy month. Like I don't always feel like I'm doing that much, but then I actually look at all the stuff and I'm like, whoa, I went to some new museums / historical places for the first time. I went to the the New York Transit Museum. Definitely not the ideal like age demographic for this place. Definitely they were like little kids, but I still had a great time, and there was a lot of reading to do, which I did some reading, didn't do all the reading. I feel like I'm about to sneeze, but I don't think I will. Anyways, I'm really loopy today, I guess. But it was fun to see all the old subways and like the old advertisements. And it was like actually in an old station, which was just cool because like we went down underground and there were these subways. I was quite happy. And I saw the Cooper Hewitt Museum of Design for the first time. It used to be like an old mansion, like kind of by Central Park, and now it's a museum. I liked all the eco and environmental stuff for it. I think it's really nice to see designers really working to make a more positive, better future for the environment and be more sustainable, especially because so much of our society is just so capitalist and like draining to try to like use our powers and technology, for a better planet. I think that was really nice. There was like a sad thing though in the museum that I just remembered, and it was like a rhino. It was a white rhino because I guess the last white male rhino, I'm not sure if it was ever or maybe just in the wild, so rhino like passed away. So they were making like a pixel version. We saw it like come up blocks and it was more pixelated until we have like this digital version. And it looks pretty realistic, but then it's kind of sad because it's like, remember that even though it looks really real, like it's gone. And I don't know, that just like really struck me as a pretty powerful moment. Then on a more like less dramatic note, my family went to see the Lakota Wolf Preserve again. I don't know if I mentioned it before because I have gone in the past. It's this place that has like 4 packs of wolves. I believe some of them are timber wolves. I don't remember the other type, but there are 4 packs. I think there's 2 different types of wolves. And they're like kind of rescue wolves, but you have to get them when they're a pup because the wolves will not like take an adult wolf into their pack. And it's run by these people who like this is their whole life. Like this is all they do. They take care of these wolves, some foxes, a lynx. I believe it's a lynx and a bobcat. And the animals are so cute. It's so nice to see that they have like a lot of space. And you might think, oh no, like these poor animals are stuck like in these cages, but they really have a lot of territory. They seem pretty happy. They looked pretty happy. They get to play together. Like nobody's by themselves. They have companions. And the 2 people who run the preserve really care about the animals. And I like seeing that people are caring about wildlife and wanting to keep them kind of like wild in the roots, but to also they're able to like give these animals medicine when they need it. And I think that's great because they can live a lot better and healthier lives when they're able to have medicine. I also went to the Thomas Edison National Historic Park with West Orange, which is near where I live, South Orange. Never actually been. I definitely driven past it before, but we just like never went. And it was pretty cool. We got to see the Black Mariah, which was like one of the original movie like studios sections that they would actually like turn to make sure that the sun could come in for like the best lighting all the time, which I thought was pretty cool. Got to see the kinetoscope. A little bit of like, I'm not really sure if I believe he really was the first like filmmaker, but he definitely was the first one in America. And I just think it's cool to see like that original stuff. We got to see like a chemistry lab, and we got to look at like phonographs and hear some like old records that were made like way back when you still heard things in like a cone. I like forgot that the first time before like there was like a flat record or a circular record, it was like a cone shape and it was like etching around. And it was amazing to hear these sounds, like even though it was really staticky and old, like I don't know, it was just made it like the past was like in the room with us at the time. And I was pretty impressed. And there were some really nice tour guides there that gave us lots of helpful background information, because otherwise we probably kind of would have just like walked through and like missed some of this stuff that, these experts could fill us in on. It was pretty cold, but most of it was inside. It was just kind of like walking from building to building. But then we were like, yikes. And there was no food allowed in there. So I had to like sneak in M&Ms when possible, because I get really hungry, and Mom, bless her soul, had M&Ms for me to eat. And then I think that's kind of like everything that happened back in Jersey land. Then I came back to Temple. So started the semester strong. It's kind of crazy to think that I'm now in my like 4th semester of college. And at the end of this semester, I only have 2 years left of college. And then I have to get like a real job and a real life. And I'm like, not ready for that at all. But am I going to crunch through? Yes, because that's the kind of person that I am. 5 classes, technically 6, one's non-credit. It's been a crunch, lots of homework already, but I do really like it. I feel like I'm definitely learning a lot this semester already, and my professors are really passionate and care about what they're teaching, which honestly is like sometimes the only thing you really need. Like if the teacher really cares, they can bring some energy to the room, and I'm just gonna keep trying my best and keep calling my dad for accounting help and all that good stuff. Oh, well, as I said, I did talk about like my screening internship. So I officially started that also in January. So I have to like watch certain films every week and analyze them. And then we have like a phone call to talk about them to like decide if it's going to go onto a certain streaming platform. And I think it's pretty cool to watch all these films of different kind of exposures to them, though it's kind of hard to like make sure I allot this time in. But, I'm watching a lot of more films. Like I've seen a couple foreign films and I've only seen a couple really like in my life before that. So I think that's so far like the best part of this internship is like I'm forced to watch films that I may not really choose for myself, and whether or not I like them, you always kind of learn something. And like part of what you're supposed to do as a filmmaker, and in my producing class, like one of the things he's talking about is like you have to be watching movies all the time, like studying the story, decides like seeing like how did they introduce this character, like what worked and what didn't, because that's how you're going to make better movies yourself. So I think that's pretty great. And I've been on set this month, because I'm helping out with my friends seeing their thesis film, The Biggest Loser. I'm on the production design team, and we've been going to his house, his apartment. We've been going out to his old high school, middle school for shooting scenes there. And it's been really fun. So I hang out with all my friends, and it's looking really good. The last weekend of principal photography was actually this weekend. So after that, it's kind of down to like the editing team. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to be doing anything really more to help that film or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And I think that pretty much sums up January for now. I hope you guys, I don't know if you enjoy these kind of videos or not, but I hope it kind of makes you think like how much you can really do like in a month, and how there's so many things out there to do that you just kind of gotta keep looking for it. So I will see you on Wednesday with another video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and a great start to your February. So that will be where I wrap this video. Bye.